Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
What is good, everyone? My Impact Wrestling fam. Welcome to episode 143, the I Love You episode of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Geoff, and we got a fun one for you today. We're going over Slammiversary, so we got a lot to talk about, a lot of returns, as you can see up there in the episode picture. A lot of title changes, besides for one. I'm hoping the chat lights up. We got some fun stuff going on. I got some guests behind the black screen there we'll talk about. But I want to make sure you, once a month, we're going to be doing this. You can see down low Multiverse United. There we go, too. And Emergence. I'm trying to figure out a date of when to do this live because they're both on Sundays. Back to back, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll figure that out. But I want to thank you guys for rocking with us. Make sure to like, subscribe, for checking out this, for checking out Reaction, which I do try to do weekly to supplement the lack of the Sunday shows. We got TNA 2K on Wednesdays, and then we have Go-Go Power Rankings on Tuesdays with Dato, Lucha, and Bert. But without further ado, they are the Killer Kelly and the Masha Slamovich to my dog collar. It's Max and Lucha, everybody.
That's a little awkward. I will take the Killer Kelly reference, though.
The whole intro was awkward. I was just trying to get my bearings about me. What's going on, guys?
Not much. How are you?
Doing well. Excited to talk about this. A lot to talk about. Interested to see because we really haven't chatted. I text a little bit with you guys. But I'm excited to see how you guys felt about this. We're going to go through each match, play around with it. Should be an hour, a little more. We'll have fun with it. We'll talk to hopefully the chat lights up. And then at the end, we'll tell you guys our match of the night, as well as our grade, 0 through 10. We'll start doing it that way. But this is post. Hey, Io's already in the building. What's going on, Io?
Yeah.
And I'll make sure I hit up the chat and tell you guys if you can't see it. I think Lucha has the screen. But either way, this is going to be a fun one, guys. Overall, let's not get into grades or anything like that. Let's just see, did it meet expectations? What were you expecting, and all that stuff. We don't have to go into the details of it. Just going to stall for a couple minutes before we get into the show of it. But Lucha, your thoughts on the show in general, without going too far.
It felt big. Felt like I kind of wish that how it looked this year was what we got for the 20-year anniversary last year.
You're talking about size and capacity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, me personally, I would have swapped this year's and last year's and shit, and it would have made a little more sense to me. But it was still a good ass show, though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Not as much as I thought I would, more than I did last year. I enjoyed it.
I remember you saying that in the preview when we did, kind of talking about that, about how you were more hyped for this and what was developing from this one compared to the nostalgia-ridden last one. Yeah, I agree there. St. Clair's College looked pretty damn good, man. 1,500 sold, it seems like. And it looked old TNA, which was, I thought, a great thing. So, yeah, I guess you could have flipped them, but, hey, as long as we're progressing, I'm happy with it.
Sure as hell didn't sound old TNA.
It did not. We'll get to that, man. Everything is awesome. It was the Legos movie up in this bitch last night. But, Max, your thoughts, obviously you don't keep together on the week-to-week. You keep up on it, but you're not a,
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good show. I kind of agree. I think there was more hype with last year's because it being the everything, but I think this one, I don't want to say there were more surprises, but you've already mentioned the bout changes with the amount of like title changes. Like you see the first and the second and the third, and you're like, is it going to be a clean, like what is this going to get to? So I think that kind of, and then as the titles continue to change, it kind of builds like, are they really going to do another one? And then you kind of get to like the last two and you're like, they're going to clearly stop it. Like, so then you wonder like which one's going to be the stop. So I thought it was a good show. I like the crowd. I do agree that it looked good. I think the fact that they're putting now 1,500 people in an arena is a good thing.
It helps.
They're not struggling to do this. As I sent to you a text message the other day talking about their viewership. It's up 18% so far for this quarter, and they're just continuing to grow month after month after month, which is great. I mean, it's a good thing for them, and they're finally being rewarded for the product they're putting out. And although you can watch them on YouTube and we don't know those numbers, it's nice to see them growing on Access so that the random person at least has that to go to. And it's not just, Anthem knows what's going on and no one else has any clue.
Right. And unfortunately, I think that's part of it growing is people seeing other people, the process, as Io says. Yeah, you got to trust the process. And we've done that. And obviously hurt when you have COVID and that kind of, put us back a little bit. They still put on great shows, but you needed to build that fan base again as far as who shows up and pays for tickets. And with that, if that's the main goal here, it's just, because some people need to see people enjoying it for them to allow themselves to enjoy it. This was a good starting point for something Lucha and I have been talking about, which is, yes, last year felt nostalgia-ridden, exciting for those reasons and things. This felt very present, and it felt future, which was, this is our jumping off point. Let's, hit whatever we're doing for Slammiversary, and then the fallout from there onto Emergence or Multiverse first, then Emergence, then Victory Road is just going to be what's the, going into Bound for Glory. So I'm excited on the future and the prospect here, and it was good to see, that many in the crowd. Canada always shows up, which, look, I'm glad we're doing our business in different markets, but if shit hit the fan again, God forbid, one reason or another, and they needed a place to stay permanently, I wouldn't mind Canada whatsoever. Go up north.
They show up for Impact. They don't always show up for some other companies that are
no?
there.
Oh.
They struggled a little bit.
All right. Well, hey, good to know then. But either way, it's good to see them being rewarded, as you said, and then obviously us as fans being able to enjoy it more because we can say, even though we still enjoy it, oh shit, all these people are enjoying it as well, which is cool. Let's stay right with there. Let's get right into it. We're going to go into the countdown show. We're starting off with a six knockout. You guys neither of you saw this, so I'll take the lead on this one.
Cared.
Hey man, it is what it is. Death Dollz still trying to get back to maybe the dark side or finding their way in the undead realm. We don't know what's going on. It's been kind of, I like that they're taking a little back step because they've been so prevalent in the tag division. So I thought this was good because this is two tag teams who really aren't in the picture right now doing something. So I thought that was good. But it's the Death Dollz doing their thing. Jody Threat coming off a loss to Deanna, which is no harm, no foul, man. Good Canadian pop there. I still think she's the ODB of this era. She just has that vibe of I come out and I'm energized. I change the vibe of the arena, and I go out there and do some shit, man. And they're gonna pick up the win over the Shawtourage. Shout out to, I don't know who's watching this, by the way. We've had things, Champagne Sing, and a couple other things, but. We call them the Shawtourage. They are the Shawtourage. So at least shout out to Ray Walt, the Drama King, for dropping that. But Rosemary beats Vidal, which I thought was, or with the spear on Vidal, which I thought this was a good little match to get it jump started. Obviously, you have the Canadians in there too. Oh, all across the spectrum here, from Giselle to Jody to Rosemary or Courtney Rush. So that's cool. And then Vidal was getting a lot of action and offense. So for him to take the pin, no harm, no foul. He's just starting off anyway. So I'll let the chat or the comments let me know how you guys like that. Lucha, you got something on it?
Now, I didn't necessarily care about this match, but I do like the pairing. It's three of them. I like the grouping of Courtney Rush, Jessica, and Jody Threat. Like Jody Threat being kind of sort of the replacement for Taya.
Right. Different vibe.
Especially where they are now that we have Courtney and not Rosemary. Yeah. That should be fun. I'm going to count them as another trios team for my trios division.
There you go. Let's focus on the Knockouts tag first. But hey, either way, once again, are there two tag teams who could be tomorrow get a shot. It be without Jody or not. The Death Dollz and then the Shawtourage of Savannah and Giselle. So we're moving on to something, Max, you did see this, so I'll kick it to you. But we're going to have Kenny King become the new DMC. The what? The DMC. Another shout out for them to use that, man. We've been rocking that forever.
DMC.
Kenny likes it. We love it. That's what we've called it all along. Going to Barry Horowitz this shit because it's it's the right name. Now, was it the cool thing to do, Max? I'll let you tell me from your point of view. Longest reigning DMC champion. In company history, obviously, we only have a few champions. It's new in its iteration, but
3 before was it Joe Hendry the third?
No, we have
No, oh my gosh,
Jordan Grace, Matt Cardona, Rich Swann,
the
Brian
third.
Myers, Joe Hendry, and now Kenny King. At least the lineage. What's up, Critical Sting? Welcome to the party, my friend. Yeah, the lineage is there, and Joe Hendry's reign was great. I think Kenny King brings it to that next level of where I want it, which is, hey, we want an Intercontinental. It feels like guys who are on the cusp. I think Joe Hendry will be there. He's so over in the crowd, and I want to shout that out before we just move on to Kenny winning. Yeah, the crowd ate up Joe Hendry's stuff. I'm surprised he lost the way he did, including being on the Countdown show. But, hey, you need something to set the tone for the night, and I thought this did a good job.
So with this being on the Countdown show, I actually don't mind that. I like having matches like this. If it was up to me, this would have been the whole Countdown show. Give them 10 plus minutes. Because, and the reason I say it is because I like having matches on a Countdown show that allow you to say, oh, wow, that was good. I now want to buy this pay-per-view. So I probably wouldn't put the X Division, but I would be fine with DMC, a tag title match, or maybe the Knockouts tag titles, like any of those three being on a pre-show if you give them 10 plus minutes as a buy this pay-per-view, look at what we can do type thing.
Yeah.
So
dingle that carrot.
Yeah.
But
and I like this. I like Joe Hendry. I think he has elevated this title from something that when it first started, it was an interesting concept. Oh, it's going to be defended on YouTube, whatever.
Right.
Kind of lost its way, and he brought it up to what I think it could be. It could be that Intercontinental Championship. I think he started to. Like, he made it a legit title. He was over enough that people cared about him.
Yeah.
They liked him, and because he had the title. And I think Kenny King winning it, now it gives Kenny King, well, needs only one more title for a Triple Crown title holder. Maybe he can go find a television championship in the trash can or something.
Tag team, baby. Him and Sheldon.
King of the Mountain champion.
But I do think that now Kenny King gets the chance to continue to elevate the title. And I think him and Joe Hendry can potentially have a little feud to continue for a little while. But then I do think Kenny King, name-wise, gets this title to the next level.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you. The thing I was making faces, I do agree with you that he's elevated it, because the long reign after a bunch of great names holding it really establishes it to be like, I'm holding on to this. This means something to me. I thought it was necessary. Yes. I agree with you. But I think Kenny brings it to that next one, and I think Joe can be right there up with him as well. But I love the title. And, the one, I have a couple notes on here that I actually wrote notes for once. Because I knew there was going to be three of us, so I knew how to... And Lucha, you said, man, that what's left for Kenny to do here, but not care about the belt, but to kill this man. To murder him after the Stripper Kenny thing. And Kenny came out swinging, man. Max, you saw it. He was throwing roundhouse kicks with full force. He went straight at it, man, and I enjoyed it for that reason. I will say this, that in technical terms, I'm looking at Hendry here as the heel, because he's joking our man King for having a second job, making a song about it. If you actually look at the facts, 2010 to 2015, he's a stripper. He's also working for TNA, so he's got to make that money somehow. That's like writing a song called Sunglass Hut for Taylor Wilde. Don't be a dick, Joe Hendry. Don't be a dick. But other than that, I think it's good because you don't want... Look, it's hard enough to be, I'm the face who makes funny songs and hits. He's knocking that out. We love it. We love what he did with the title. But you go on too long, you got a Goldberg on your hands. Not like in the same sense, but the old Bert. You can start seeing people, not here, people love him, but take it off while it's hot, and we'll find something else for him to do, even if it's stayed within the title. So.
No, I agree with that. And it's just like, you think it like someone like Enzo and Cass. I think you and I have talked about that, where the entrance with them was amazing at first. And then you're like, all right, this is kind of the same thing over and over again. They've run out of, like, and that's the thing where you're making these songs. Eventually, do you end up having to rehash things because you're just like, I'm out of ideas.
I think with him, the next step for me with Hendry, he's got the poses. He's got 17 of them. He's got stops in his intro. The wrestling. I want to be able to say that was a Joe Hendry classic right there. I haven't seen that yet, but I think we'll get there. Let's get on to something. Let's move to the show. Shout out to Dobby the Brain Heenan for joining us yet again. Datala as well. One of the best names in the business, Dobby the Brain Heenan. Great stuff. Says, anyone else think this could eventually lead to a Kenny and Sheldon feud over the DMC? I do think so. I originally said that because Kenny was hinting at already ROH or whatever. I hope he stays. Love Kenny King. But if he is on the way out eventually, that's what you do. You put something on Kenny, thank him for his time, and then have that young guy who's his protege have that send-off, goodbye, I did it to you, there, kind of moment. So I think that's possible. I hope a long reign for Kenny, though, but other than that, I think that's a great option. Let's go into the intro. We're starting here. By the way, shout out to Fight Bites. All these little extra things they do. I want to give my shout out to production because I'm about to shit on production. But these Fight Bites and the things they do are just those little bit extras, those little big things that really add to it, the presentation. But this intro, we get a Slammiversary intro. I'm a film dude that, guys know, that's my thing. I look for that more than anything else sometimes. And this intro was the most lazy, uninspired intro I've ever seen. It was just, here's the wrestler, here's the wrestler, here's the wrestler. You know what? What will make us think about Slammiversary? Shout out for bringing the Jarretts. I like the little pictures of that. But just throw Steiner math over it. And he's talking about Kurt Angle. Like, why? Like, I get it. Everyone likes Steiner math. But this was like, they were like, oh, shit, I woke up and we need a Slammiversary open. Like, what the hell was going on with that?
5 minutes before the start. Hey, man, you got the intro? Oh, yeah, I'm getting it together right now. Just finish.
I dead ass thought I was going to see Lucha in the clip doing the, like when they sell the tickets. Lucha, you said you had something on this too.
TNA. Yeah, it was the Steiner match. Shit.
Okay,
like, it was crazy because like you watch the intro on mute. You're just like, okay, yeah, this about to be some hot shit. It was a fire ass intro with no audio. Mm-hmm. I did appreciate how they still, because they had Barry Scott saying Impact Wrestling presents Slammiversary.
They did
from when he was still here, so I appreciate that they still threw that in at the end.
And to your credit as well, look, last year was the nostalgia one. There was 20 years. This is, the 21st year. This is the 19th Slammiversary. There's no real... It's a new year. We want to focus on the present talent, which I think they did. But it was just a little odd. It was like, let's just let, AI create a intro here. I wasn't a big fan.
Maybe that's what this was. This was an AI-generated Slammiversary entrance.
Man, I'd rather have Allen Iverson create the intro with that AI with no things.
AI would at least put his music over the shit, so it'll be kind of extra hype.
Look, had they not added Steiner Matt though, they only had a little bit of talking, and you want a longer one. I was thinking to myself, honestly, I was like, can't they just pull an AEW and steal some TNA commercial script and just use those words again? But
why not just take that intro and use that intro? There are moments where time stands still.
Oh, AJ does a flying forearm through the blockbuster. Yeah, I missed that shit. But let's get to the match. I'm gonna kick it to you, Lucha, because this is the first one that you witnessed. But we're going straight into Ultimate X. Max, I know I'll let you hit on it after Lucha, of course, but this is how your ideal start to a show. We start with the X Division. And hey, look, to get my little part in, I thought everyone had something here. I'm sure I'll drop a little more in as we go. But I thought this was smartly booked, man. One of the common themes I'll be saying throughout the show was smart booking for the most part and great pace. And after those two, which I thought was good, you have a title change to get people hooked. You have a warm-up match in the beginning. And then now you have the Ultimate X with Kushida taking it over Angels, who's getting a little something. He's the Celestial Angels. Still got some work to do, but I enjoy the efforts. Gresham, who's Gresham. Knight, who's Knight. Bailey. And then the return of Jake something, which...
Fucking Jake.
Jake something. So, Lucha, let me hit me with that.
Cause like when I got home like 10 minutes into the show, so like I get in, I turn everything on. Look, fuck is that? Oh shit, it's Jake something. So boom, I'm already wilding. It wasn't as good as the 2021 one at Slammiversary.
That's fair.
One from Nashville. Because there wasn't any spots like Josh with the ankle lock hanging from the cable.
innovative wise. There were some things we throwbacks, some moonsaults off the Mandrew special from Bailey, and
I did appreciate the altitude of people were at when they were getting hit in the dick. That was very creative. Angels was on one for those dick shots, like jump off the top rope.
There was one that he jumped off, and obviously he couldn't reach or whatever it was, or whoever was too tall. Was it Jake something? So he jumps off the top rope and like, I don't get. Like,
I was gonna bring that up. So there's a video of Alan Angels putting it on Twitter. He's like, personally, my favorite moment from Slammiversary.
Was it that?
And it's him jumping off and hitting Jake something in the nuts.
Yes.
And then Chris Bay's like, motherfucker did a leaping low blow, diving dick shot, jumping junk driller. I was like, that does like
jumping junk driller.
He bubbled gum his nuts.
He was like, oh shit.
Shit was great, man.
My man hit the shooting star punch to the dick.
Oh man, but your thoughts on Kushida winning? Obviously Jake, we just mentioned that, but Angels, I mean, everyone showed out. There wasn't anyone I was like, oh, this person looks weak within this match. I thought everyone had some great shit. Dalto has mentioned that about Angels giving everyone the low blows and the chair shots. Millard, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. But yeah, and then I think Kevin Knight tried to get it while Jake was carrying him. So overall, in the you said overall in the match, but let's go to Kushida winning.
The Kushida winning like unfairly formed my opinion on other matches.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Kind of made you predict other things.
Yeah,
or expect.
I'm cool with Kushida winning because I love me some Kushida.
Yeah,
so. I ain't got no problem with that, but it just formed my opinion a little.
Yeah.
It set me up.
All right, well, let's get to yours, Max. I do want to read Critical Sting here. Read his. It says, if I was alone, I would have woke up the neighborhood when Jake's music hit. Yeah, man, I was happy to see him back. Max, are you happy to see him back upon all these other people you're starting to see maybe a new flavor of by tuning in?
Yeah, no, I am. I feel like when there was a long point there when we were doing the show weekly where we talked about Jake something, where he was just kind of Jake nothing.
Yeah.
Like really like Jake, he was just nah. Like there was just nothing there. Hopefully whatever. His time away, hopefully he comes back. I think realistically, I think the X Division is a good spot for him. I like the X Division when it has a good, or possibly DMC later now that Kenny's elevated, but I like the X Division when it kind of has a good mix of high flyers and those guys who are like anti-high flyers. So I think he's a good fit there. I was happy Kushida won. I thought it was an interesting pick. I'm looking at everybody in there, looking at everything. Mike Bailey, I like him, but he's had his shots. I don't want him to just get another. The only one I think Jonathan Gresham would have been an interesting pick.
That was my pick.
Especially with Leo Rush winning later on. Height-wise, they would have. Jonathan Gresham may actually be taller, so he may look like a giant.
That's some ROH stuff right there, which I would have loved.
That would have been some good things there. But I think Kushida's a good pick. I like Kushida. I'm interested to see what is this. When is the title? Was that announced? I don't remember.
This Fallout. I think it was tonight.
Oh, was it? Okay,
yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was that fast because I was thinking if you don't, I don't know if they have anything set for Multiverse, but I thought that Kushida at Multiverse, where you were going to have multiple, that would have been interesting if they did it there. But I liked Kushida as a pick to win it. I think it's an interesting thing, and it's not. And I agree, it wasn't the best Ultimate X I've ever seen. But it was still a good start. Everybody got their stuff in. No one came off looking like, oh, yeah, that's the dude who's just going to get his ass whooped up and down the X Division. And another thing, I think, was it Bailey who did the moonsault off the top of the...
Yep.
I liked that spot because normally when you have those spots, you always see the cameraman filming it where you just see a bunch of people just standing there looking up, waiting. Like, when's this motherfucker going to jump?
Right.
Yeah, exactly like Lucha's looking.
Yeah.
And because of where they shot it, it was just Bailey, and when he flipped off, he'd land. So they may have been standing there just, like, waiting for, like, 5 minutes.
Right.
But you, at least as a viewer on TV, you didn't see that. So it was very well shot and very well done.
Yeah, I liked it. I agree with you guys on everything there. I'm seeing, people wondering what happens with Gresham from here. I'm a big Gresham mark. I said that multiple times on here. He's my Dean Malenko of this era where I don't care. He could say one thing in an interview. As long as he goes out there and does him, I'm happy. But you wonder what's going on with him or where they go from here. I'm gonna hold on because I said this is the jumping off point for what's new for creative, so I'll see what they do with them. I just hope they do something.
We got two, at least for me, I got two possible routes. I would like for them to just go ahead and stop sitting on it and make him and Speedball a legit tag team. I think that'll be an interesting pairing, especially with how the tag division looks now.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
Or we could also revisit some Ring of Honor shit, because I'm pretty sure Kenny King and Gresh have history over there, so maybe moving him to the DMC, letting him rock with Kenny King, that would be a good, balance
I like that.
Of personalities.
What I really like... Oh, go, yeah.
I was saying, he would be interesting with the DMC, where he can kind of do the storyline where, the high flyers have the X division, but if he wins the DMC is for technical wrestlers, because that's what he is, similar to a pure title. Not necessarily saying that's what the DMC is gonna be, but that's how he treats it. Right. If you want, so I think that would be a good title for him to hold, the DMC.
I've always looked at the DMC as just the modern television championship, because television isn't what it was when we had TV championships. Sure. Everything's digital media now. Yeah. So it's just same thing,
an extension
but modernized. Yeah.
We've talked about this multiple times, where I view it and where I want to view it. As long as it's held in the same prestige when it's at the end of the day as the X Division title, I'm okay. It doesn't have to be today, like in real life. Of course, nothing's touching the X Division title. We talked about this. But in kayfabe-wise, as long as we're treating it like that, and this is our one other way to, 1A to 1B path to the world title, I'm okay with it. The one thing, and the good thing, or good on you for mentioning the tag team portion of that. I don't know if I put them there, and we'll get to that in a little bit, a couple matches. But I will say that I loved that, even though this is a clusterfuck match, Ultimate X, they still made sure to book it where the two tag teams, Kevin Knight and Kushida, and Speedball and Gresham, who have some history, are having some showdowns. And there's things like that integrated in there. And it felt really peak X Division, where most of these dudes have characters or some kind of personality, and they can go. And as Max said, there's a big guy. And as Critical Stink's in here, there's a Gresham who's a Doug Williams. You got the Jake who could be the Brian Cage. You have all these dudes who bring different flavors to this X Division. It's amazing.
Austin Starr in Angels.
Not
Aries. Not Austin.
Not Aries.
Austin Starr.
He's got to get a banana, and then he can and no show some shit. No, that's it. Let's move on to next up, because we're talking about tag teams in general. Max, I'll start off with you on this one, because we did that, the Impact Zone for a bit, and we would talk about this regardless about depth charts. We've been clamoring for more in the division for the Knockouts tag, and we'll get to that in a little bit with the men's tag. But at this point right here, I'm saying to myself, this Knockouts tag's more interesting than the men's tag. We have MK Ultra, which is a phenomenal name, makes sense, fits them. The entrance is good. They look like a new Pitbulls with sex. Well, maybe some people find the Pitbull sex appeal, but you know what I mean. Hey, to each their own. But they look great. It gives them something to do. And the first thing I think of is everyone who's going to say, but they should be singles. Look, we'll get to that later, but when you're rocking 3 knockouts at the top of your world title picture, give these girls some substance. And that's what they did here. We have 2 knockouts who said, hey, because of circumstance, we're here. Doesn't matter how we got here, but we're going to take advantage of it. And they sure as hell did. Not only did they win it, they look great doing it. The Coven looked great losing. I don't care. I love the Coven. They're made people for me. And eventually, Kylan King's going to be a star. You had Death Dollz and Shawtourage in the beginning as well. This is exactly what I would have hoped for. Max, your thoughts on MK Ultra as a pairing and the whole shebang there?
So first off, I love them as a pairing. I agree. They are absolutely amazing. They fit well together too. They look like 2 people who should be teamed together as a group. And I agree. I remember when we talked about the Knockouts Tag Team Champions coming back, we were like, okay, they have some teams that you Fire and Flavor, they can do this, okay, cool. And then it just quickly kind of fell apart on them. We
get 1, we get 2, we go back. We get 1, we get 2.
Yeah, and now they're building something, and the Coven is great. Death Dollz are an actual team. Shawtourage is an actual team, and I like that. So should Killer Kelly and Masha be singles wrestlers? Yes, they should. But like you said, when you get stacked divisions, when you have depth, I don't have a problem with putting two people together as long as it's not just like random, hey, we're teamed together and all of a sudden we're a tag team.
Yeah.
Like, I want to say, I know it was Giselle Shaw, and was it Lady Frost that she was feuding with initially?
And they were going to start.
Where they were going back and forth, and we thought maybe this is going to lead to them being a tag team. And I like that. I like tag teams that come together. Like, one of the best tag teams in WWE was The Bar, with Sheamus and Cesaro, and it came from a feud, and then they just merged together and created a tag team. That's what this is. It was a feud,
Real quick.
and then it's like
Beer Money.
Beer Money is one, but we've respected each other. Now let's be a team, and I love that. I think it was a great decision to make the change, and I think this is the start of a legit option for a tag a tag division for you to build things off of, and hopefully they continue to add to it and find people and bring in groups that can continue to maybe even if it's just for like a one-off, like rotate them in and out. But I think they have a good base now, finally, and they can build off of it. And it doesn't just feel like, well, the champions are the champions, and oh well, whatever.
Yeah. I'll kick it to Lucha, but obviously everyone's saying in there too about chemistry, and it doesn't matter if they're first time tagging together. Look, the Coven tagged together for the first time and won the titles. Now the same with Masha and MK Ultra. I don't think there's any harm, no foul in giving them something to do. When I was talking, I was with my cousin watching it, and I said 3 of the 4 knockouts in here are yet to win the world title. But there's obviously no path today for that. I mean, you got Trinity, you got Deanna, you got Mickey coming back, you got things going on. So right now, this is an option, and it's a damn good one. Lucha, are you on the same in the same boat?
Yeah, I'm with you. And like the thing with MK Ultra that I was fucking with heavy was they had what no team has had to me since Fire and Flavor, and that's interesting tandem moves. Like, above the usual, like, oh, let's do a double suplex, or, what I'm saying? Stuff like, or you be on the top rope and I throw you to them, tag moves A and B. Like, they were pulling off some crazy joints, and I like that. Fire and Flavor was the last team that really did that.
That's fair. Natural chemistry is definitely there. Yeah, I agree with you, man. And I think, we can end this one on a smile regardless. The Coven will still be part of that division they're building, as we're all saying here, and just to see, and kind of the same with the DMC, man, we're starting to see the fruits of their labor, because we wanted these knockouts titles, we didn't want them to go away. Same with the DMC. Oh, get rid of it, throw them in the trash, there's not enough teams, there's no depth. Let them build, let them cook, and they did, man. Now we're eating some damn good meals, man. Because I love this MK Ultra, and I love the Coven. So, Snowplow on Wild, by the way. So Kylan King not getting the L there, so I like that too.
I just need them to get like a crazy finisher.
Something, yeah. Total Elimination, was that the Eliminators, Perry Saturn and Cronus? And they would do the leg sweep into the thing.
Oh yeah.
They do have a move. They do have movesets that would make that a logical thing.
What was what were their name? My brain stopped. America's Most Wanted.
What
was their finisher?
The Death Sentence.
I feel like they could pull that off.
And the name is perfect.
It works as well. Hey man, I love it. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. And, we have 4 teams right now. And we're going to, get to number 7, which is the tag team division for the men's. And they're in a good place with 4, I think, as well, which we'll get to. But let's keep going here. I'm going to go to you, Lucha, on this one. Because, Canada, it finally happens. We got the tease on Impact. We knew it was someone that was coming back from the dead. 2 and 2 would say, oh, it's Eric Young. And sure enough, it was. Just like Roddy got out his contract, got the 90 days, showed up in his home, or his new home, in this case Eric Young's home, multiple ways. But Team Canada's back. I thought it was exciting. I enjoyed it. I thought this match, especially with Darren McCarty and the ref stuff and the So they had the sports guy, you had all these different players. It was a very TNA match, and I mean that in every term, from the overbooking to the celebrity role to the ref stuff. But I enjoyed it. And it needed to happen to write this off. It made sense with Diener being the one that, being the other guy. I think that was the obviously telltale right there. But EY stared him down in the beginning, but we don't have any, there was no like, hey, you killed me, I'm going to mess you up. But maybe that's because he's Showtime now. I don't know. But your thoughts on the match, obviously, but also EY is back. He's in Impact. He's on the roster page. Your thoughts on that? And, we can't miss the A1. A sign by A1 as well, man. Looking jacked still, by the way. Look like he could wrestle tomorrow. But yeah, your thoughts on everything. And then finally, the fruits of our labor. I'm going to get in Team Canada.
Yeah, we worked overtime trying to get this shit. But no, I was a little bummed though, like that there wasn't, like you said, that moment, kind of sort of like WrestleMania 20, Undertaker versus Kane, and Kane was like, "I buried you, I killed you, you're dead." That whole shit, just trying to touch him and not get his ass whooped. I'm mad there wasn't that. Fair. But everything else sold. Everything else was beautiful. It was so uncomfortable seeing Eric Young smile, and you cannot see the look of like sadistic shit on his face.
It's weird.
Like it was a genuine smile.
Yeah.
What the fuck is? I was more scared of that. Yeah, man. Everything's beautiful. Everything's wonderful. I can't help but wonder though, as far as the PCO swerve, if that was the plan the whole time.
I look at it, man, and I know there's a lot of ways we could play with this, and we won't jump too far ahead with the Josh thing. I honestly think if you were to tell me right now, tell me who Impact will make the next Team Canada, if they go that route. That's one thing. We, no spoilers. We don't know what's going on right now, or was already taped. But are they still rocking with this? They made gear for it, so I hope so. But I would say, obviously Josh, obviously EY. I think Jody Threat or something they need a knockout in there, but I think PCO would still be in it. So I for some reason I feel like PCO will come back in red and white and black, but still be Frankenstein PCO. I think it's more. I
don't think he'll be a Frankenstein. I think he'll wrestle like PCO, but they'll bring back like what the fucking Mountie or whatever his name was. Yeah,
awesome if he was the Mountie.
Like they'll TNAify that. You know what I'm saying? Or still call him PCO, but he's just not Frankenstein.
I mean, they put battery acid in his mouth, so I'm sure that wires your brain a little different. It does something to you. So it's possible, but I could see a more comedic good guy face group out of Team Canada.
Him and Showtime as a tag team with, that same dynamic. Eric Young, Showtime, but he's still a little...
Versus Diener and Khan? Sold.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And boom, 2 more tag teams.
There you go. Max, your thoughts? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, just the last thing. It may not have been my match of the night, but you listen to that crowd, it for sure was their match of the night.
Yeah, they definitely, they were singing throughout it. It felt, and I know we made the joke of TNA crowd or whatever, but they bought in. They bought in. And they were singing, the Canadian national anthem. They were, eating everything up. EY was enjoying it for that reason, especially after having, 2 title changes at this point, having an Ultimate X. It was okay to have something that was for everybody, and this filled that gap. But Max, your thought on Team Canada being back? Do you think they rock with this, or you think this was a one night kind of thing? Because EY's video was like, it was red and black, sure, but it had like this, I'm back, Walking Dead, or not Walking Dead, but like when Taker came back kind of thing, and then it went to Team Canada.
So I'm hoping they stick with Team Canada. I think it kind of gives, if it's EY, PCO, and Scott, something to do that can be more comedy, possibly. Doesn't necessarily have to put them in like title pictures or anything like that. I will say my view on the match appears to be different than you two. Team Canada came out. I was super excited, and then it just all went downhill from there. I was like, all right, the ref quit. I was like, what the hell is happening? I was like...
It was overbooked.
I was waiting for Russo to come walking out there and start I'm like, what in the hell is happening here?
Yo, the corruption in Impact is rampant. Like, from the whole basis of this storyline of Scott D'Amore swinging on Bully as president, you got fucking Santino beefing with Dango, costing him matches. Referee quits, and
the referee for the night says,
and then your special enforcer just catches the shirt and is like, "I'm the referee now." Like, what?
It instantly became a fucking 3-on-2 because Darren McCarty was kicking their ass just as much as Scott and Eric Young.
Like, this is.
It was a fun TV match. That's how I'll word it. But
it was.
But it needed to happen.
It was interesting. It was fun. I think it was a good slowdown because I don't want to say a pee break match, but you can't have things going a million miles a minute, one right after another. And when you've just had title change and you're about to run into the title change of Palooza that's about to happen coming with the next one, like it was fun. It was enjoyable, but I was like, by the time it ended, I was like, all right, cool, let's get on with some. We got
some nostalgia. We got EY back. We got a surprise. Scott went out there and did his thing, man.
I'd have preferred Petey Williams, but
over Scott or EY.
No, I mean either. Personally, I love me some Petey Williams.
Well, you know what?
Scott Stair there, Petey Williams just jacks, but over EY.
A couple things I want to hit up here real quick. Critical Sting and a couple gems here. Did anyone else initially think that Scott stole Bobby Roode's jacket? Yes, because that's the one Bobby or Scott let Bobby use during his run when he had Peyton Banks and all that stuff. And then the other thing he says is Team Canada gets rebooted. If it does Bully reboot Aces and Eights, but with members people care about. That's the key. And with that being said, yes, things might have fell in place. Maybe PCO wasn't meant to be. Maybe who knows? But it feels very interesting that Bully's with Diener and Khan and they don't have a direction. Angels wouldn't fit Aces and Eights anyways. Maybe there is an Aces and Eights versus Team Canada thing going on here. But we'll see.
Lockdown.
Hey, let's get Lethal Lockdown there. Yeah, that'd be interesting. But let's move on because we're talking about pace change here, and that was one of the things that for this to be the match right after, you're stoked because you're saying for Max, people like Max, like, oh, it's X Division next. This was fun. This is fun.
X Division is always my match of the night.
This is a breather before we get to that title match. But still, fun, whatever. But this is where we get the meat on the bones. And this thing lasts about 2 minutes.
A minute and 20 seconds.
A minute 20 seconds. So I'm going to run through the whole match.
Okay.
Literally
run through it. No. Lio Rush is after 2 final hours, is the X Division champion, which, look, I said this on the show before, made it come as a surprise. Once he left ROH, for me, I didn't keep up on his work. And ROH knew he could go. Never heard him talk like that. This promo and Impact sold me. I didn't care if he won it in 10 seconds. He feels legit. I like Lio Rush. I love the character. If he sticks around for the long haul or for a good amount of time and you put him with Moose, that's money. We want someone to speak with Moose as well, but also give Moose some flavor. I think that works. Don't know if that's the pairing, but Lio Rush sold me for sure.
Just don't have Lio Rush telling the crowd to look at Moose's ass like they had him doing Bobby Lashley.
I forgot about that Lashley thing. Right. Well, maybe not that then. But either way,
he's just trying to stick him in the same.
I didn't even remember. But I loved
Moose fucking bending over, pointing at his ass cheeks.
Well, I loved his promo. I'm glad he's the champion. I get him being the champion. I get the pacing here, trying something different. I get, passing the belt. It furthers my thing that the Motor City era was just kind of to get us a shot in the arm before Slammiversary and get us on to new things. Rascalz to theirs, Trey off the belt, Macklin off the belt. This definitely solidified it. But what I don't get about this, and I get mostly everything, but to have a pay-per-view, one of your big 4 of the year, and a possible reason why a Max, or not Max, but whoever, or a casual fan would watch this, and this is what you give them is, I'm ready for that Leo Saban X Division, this is gonna be, and then you give me a storyline match, that pissed me off a little bit. And I wasn't heated, but at the same time, like, man, I'm looking forward to this. They just did that promo with Leo, so there's some juice on this. I want this kid to win. and then they let him win. But in a minute, and no, Sabin was not injured in the match. He's got another match. Lucha, you mentioned that, right? He's got a match in a month. He probably is wrestling at these tapings. They sold it, and that's fine. But to go from the Team Canada match to then the disappointment of this was a definite lull for me.
I'm like, if it were gonna go this route to put the belt on Leo, I would have rather this happened on TV, and then we get the rematch here, and then this is where they actually bang, and then pause, and then if we want Leo to win, he wins, and then we go from there. Like that. This is a real TV like title change.
Yeah. Max?
So here's what I'll say. When it first happened, the first thing I thought is Sabin injured? Because what's a minute and 20 seconds? Like the way it happened, you're like, did something happen where they like had to swerve it in the middle or something? Because a lot of times you see the attacks before the bell, and then the guy gets his ass beat, and then he like battles back, and I'm like, okay, oh no, it's over.
Yeah.
Okay. And it surprised me, and it did. I was disappointed at first because I was like, okay, he's not injured, but it wasn't what I wanted. The more I thought about it, though, the more I'm like, I'm okay with this stuff happening as long, like, very rarely, because there are situations and I know we always have to suspend like our disbelief when we're watching wrestling.
Sure.
Guys are getting dropped on their head and then kicking out at 1 count. But in real fights, MMA, boxing, sometimes a super hyped up match that you're like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing, ends like that. Sometimes in football, a super hyped up game, someone gets injured and it changes it from the beginning.
Okay.
But I also think that this whole thing, it made Leo Rush look ruthless. Like, before you even step in the ring, I'm going to fuck you up. Sure. And because normally when you see this stuff, guys do this. They jump somebody. They beat them up real bad in the beginning, and they just don't finish them. Yeah. Leo Rush comes in, hits his finisher. He kicks out. Nope, I'm going to do it right. Fuck you, I'm doing it again. You're not kicking out of this. And so hopefully it leads to something. I'm interested to see where a Leo Rush title run leads.
Yeah.
That's what, to me, is going to determine whether or not this was good or if it was just it fizzles. Is where does it go from here? Like, there has to be a continuation and a build on what Leo Rush did in order for this to make sense.
Yeah.
So question though. Yeah. Okay, so how would either one of y'all can answer? Well, both. How would you feel if like there was a rematch and it happens the same way?
That would be dumb.
Here's the thing. Yeah, that'd be rough because this is playing on the possibility of, do you believe Sabin's injured? Now, I'm seeing a lot of things. I want to hit that before we get to, because they're lighting up this chat. I appreciate you guys. Once again, if you didn't catch the beginning, still trying to pick a day for MU2 and Emergence to do a show because they're on Sundays. We'll figure it out if it's a Monday or not, whatever. But Dobby the Brain Heenan saying there as well. I brought this up some other places. The only reason why I think Sabin did get hurt is because I think he might have, on that dive, he got rocked, and then Leo is the only person to not get a pre-made and new graphic on their socials. Every other wrestler that won titles did. That's possible. And yeah, I agree with you, Max. The problem with that is this is a controlled environment, and compared to UFC where, he slipped and got hit and boom, and it's over. And yes, I paid that money, but whatever. And same here, I paid that money, but I get whatever. When you go into a wrestling show, and yes, cards subject to change, especially with an Impact who's trying to continuously build and build and build, it's not worth the risk to tell that story, in my opinion, to tell that story to the fan who spent $39.95 and wanted to see Leo Rush versus Chris Sabin.
I agree.
So,
but that's why I said it. I need to see where this story goes, because if they play the story well, it can work. Like so much in wrestling, outcomes, depending on what happens with the story, you have a guy who's like hot, like white hot. You give him the championship, and then I'll use AEW. Is it Hangman beats Kenny Omega on top of the world, and then they just kind of meh, and it fizzles and dies. So it loses all that. So really, his whole build dies because his title run sucked. But
or over my head.
If Leo Rush's title run is amazing, this may be an interesting start to it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I need to see more before I'm fully, but I was disappointed in the moment.
In the moment, yeah. So stick in the moment, but I do agree with you. And I'm open, once again, I'm open for storytelling. I'm not open for storytelling on a $40 budget when people hopefully are paying their hard-earned money to watch. But I agree. The only other thing that makes me think this was legit, by the way, was because this show, besides maybe a little pandering, ended right at the cusp, maybe 4 minutes early. So unless that match was only going to go 5 minutes long, maybe, and we'll talk about Eddie and them, maybe they went a little extra to make up for it, but it felt like this was timed the way it was supposed to. Pace as well. But let's keep going to keep our pace and time going. Max, I'm going to go to you first one on this because this is something, once again, depth chart-wise. We talked about tag teams, and we had a few. They finally pulled the trigger on ABC. ABC is going to lose here to SubCulture. Myers and Moose. Myers picking up the pin or taking the pin. And then Sammy and Rich as well, who I thought could have won this. But what we're looking at here, and this is the silver lining, or not silver lining, silver lining for ABC fans. The Rascalz come out. There's a distraction there, so we got some story. But if you look at the four mainstays, especially if Shelley loses at some point and Motor City's back rocking together, that's one of the things I was thinking, by the way, to hit back really quick, was if Sabin lost here and Shelley didn't come out to take care of me kind of thing, was he going to screw him over later? I thought maybe that had something to do with it. Happy it didn't. But back to the tag division. If Motor City comes back together, we're looking at people that deserve or make sense in that title picture based on wins, because Lucha, you and I talked about this. Not a single tag team in this thing deserved a title shot. I don't care what tag bites said or taglines. They spun it how they spun it. No one deserved a title shot. But if you actually look at who does, you got SubCulture as your tag champs. You got ABC, who deserve not only a rematch, but cause for, hey, I got screwed over. The Rascalz and Motor City, that is a high-octane four. And that's not including the Decays and if the Sammys and Rich and Myers and Moose and all these people stay together, the Greshams and Speedballs.
Heath and Rhino.
So this tag team division
they're done. They can stay on the sideline.
We'll
Good
see.
hands.
But the good hands, there you go. So we'll see where these tag teams go. I hope Myers turns on Moose and he gets back with the good hands, because I think that'll project Moose into the face era, which I like, and then Myers and him could split. But anyways, as far as this match in general, loved it. Thought it was balls to the wall, but still made sense a lot of time. Hard to keep up on the tags, I got to admit that, obviously. But look at this tag division and look at the outcome. In SubCulture, kayfabe, no, they didn't deserve a title shot. In real life, they earned those motherfuckers in that match they gave ABC last time. So I'm all for it. Rumor is that Leo Rush, Jake Something, and SubCulture have all signed some form of contracts to be an Impact for at least a little bit. So good sign.
So cross the line graphics for them coming.
Let's see what the time frame is. I'm not popping something out or having IO do it when they're here for 2 weeks. but I agree with you. Max, your thoughts on the tag match, the new champions, and the division where it's at right now?
Yeah, so obviously I'm a huge Bullet Club fan. So anytime they lose a match, I'm a little bit disappointed. But I love SubCulture. I think they are great together as a team.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. So the Rascalz being back is phenomenal. Yeah. Motor City Machine Guns, if they're back, is phenomenal. ABC, although I think both of these guys can legitimate be future world champions, they are so good together that I hope even if one of them has a world championship run, they still remain a team. That it's like, hey, cool, man, you're going to go after the world. Cool, I'll go after X Division. And I'd hope they never turn on each other. They can hug each other and high five into retirement, and I'll be happy.
New Machine Guns.
And then SubCulture, ABC, Motor City Machine Guns. I actually like Brian Myers and Moose together.
Okay.
At least until Moose is ready to go for the title. They've got some things going on. I think it gives him something to do where you can kind of keep him away from the title so that he doesn't just immediately go into a title shot.
Yeah.
Let there be some Macklin and like Alex Shelley, whether it's going to be Josh Alexander or it's, he can get whatever happens there. Then you can have Alexander and Macklin go at it for a little while. Keep Moose away until he's ready to step up. So kind of give them their gear matches, always very important to me. When tag teams gears match, Rich Swann and Sami Callihan need to work on that. Sammy can go pink, Rich can go black. Something needs to change there. It's too off the charts, that. But I think the tag division is in a good spot. I like that you automatically set up an ABC versus Rascalz feud here, so that if one, you don't necessarily have to have an immediate rematch, or even if you do, if Rascalz come back in and cost them again, it allows those two to kind of get away from the title picture, let SubCulture defend against a couple teams and build their time before you have to have one of those two teams step back in for, whether it's the Rascalz 8 or ABC, that match with SubCulture is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, kick it to Lucha. I just want to mention Millard in there saying, first Critical Sting, Danny Luna being a good worker is an added plus to SubCulture. Yeah, they're a package, and I like that. Their videos are cool. Of course, they need refinement, but it's cool to have Mark Andrews finally win gold and Impact as well. And then Millard also saying, at BFG, ABC versus the Rascalz versus SubCulture. Sign me up. Lucha, your thoughts on everything we just hit?
One more trios.
You're gonna make the intergender trios.
This is Impact. Fuck it. Why not?
I was just clarifying.
No. Yeah. At first, I didn't like ABC dropping the belts because, like, I knew the ABC versus Rascalz for the belt was gonna be, that was gonna be money,
right?
But I feel like it does more for the division for it to have happened this way, to where they feud non-title, and then you still have SubCulture going, or someone else doing. So It was one of those where it took me a while I understood it after a while. I'm still not quite.
Hey, we love the Coven,
with Leo Wrestling,
but it's the same thing with MK Ultra. Sometimes losing the belt, and we'll talk about that with Deanna because. Love Deanna. My love for her only continues to grow. But sometimes losing the belt means better for the division in general, most of the time. And in this case, you're putting on MK Ultra, you're putting on SubCulture, you're making two new tag teams. They're not making new two tag teams, but you're putting over two new tag teams who are now a solid piece of that division. So it made sense. And ABC doesn't look worse for wear. It's not like they they lost straight up on a bulldog. There's a lot of shit moving parts here.
Yeah, that's basically it, really. I'm just interested to see who's gonna step up first, and I just know that the Rascalz are gonna cost them this rematch. I think they're fighting tonight on the tapings, actually.
They should too. Yeah. So I have a question with you, because this is something that was brought up, and I'll ask both of you on Reddit when I was listening. Do you think that ABC still needs to be in Bullet Club, or do you think they should split away from them and just kind of do their own thing?
I'll answer this the same way I answered it 4 months ago when I kept clamoring for them to be ABC and not even say the words Bullet Club. Once Bullet Club Gold kicked in, I want you to just throw away everything and make your own IP. I get the Bullet Club. We can argue all day. It's a brand, and they continue it on just like a sports club or something. Okay, cool. I get that. There's no meat on the bones for them to be part of it. We can argue this all day, and we could go back and forth, but I love that. Well, I'll change it. I'm okay with them being Bullet Club, as long as they're still referred to as ABC. They're the guys. They're not lackeys. They're not waiting for the big guys of Bullet Club to come around. They are ABC. They are, the Bullet Club here, I guess.
And for me, really, if you go and look across the whole spectrum of Bullet Club, prior to last night, I think ABC were one of the only ones in BC with gold.
Yeah. There you go.
Other than I think somebody in Bullet Club has the junior tag titles. If I'm not mistaken,
they have tons of gold. Finley has gold. They have New Japan on gold. Yeah, Finley has said either bring me bodies or bring me gold. So here's my thought. One, great value brand Bullet Club over in AEW is not Bullet Club. Those dudes are scrubs. But here's why I like ABC being a part of Bullet Club. because in TNA Impact, they are ABC. They have nothing to do with Bullet Club. They can get the Bullet Club at the start of their thing, do their own thing. But anytime they want to work in New Japan, it gives them a reason to go over there and gives them something to do. If you're bringing people over from New Japan in to Impact because they work together, if it's somebody has a feud with Bullet Club in New Japan, boom, they can instantly come in and have a feud with ABC, and it just continues the story. So that's why I like it.
It makes sense.
I want them to be ABC, but it allows them when they go to New Japan to have an identity instead of two dudes who are just over there.
Yeah, now real quick. Go ahead.
No, my only thing is the thing, and another reason why I don't like Bullet Club Gold is like, so when it comes to ABC, which side are they on?
They are actual members of Bullet Club. Therefore, they are part of Finley's Bullet Club.
I don't.
But Jay White was kicked out of Bullet Club.
Well, we can have wiki battles all day. I at the end of the day, I give zero shits, and I agree with Critical Sting in there. ABC has no need for Bullet Club, but I don't think it hinders them. And for Max's point, yes, I agree with you. If someone comes in, a Kenta comes back, you got your two dudes to back him up or be side by side. I like it and I get it. But is it necessary? I don't know. To move on though, Dobby the Brain Heenan.
If they add Tasha Steelz,
right? Where is Tasha, by the way? I'm all for an ABC Rascalz feud away from the titles. When was the last time the tag division was able to have multiple feuds for the title and non-title going at the same time? I agree. It's a lot of multi-teams as they try to build and just throw stuff at us to see what sticks at the wall. So now could be the time to do that. And Millard bringing up a question. We'll hit it. We'll hit up now. I want a yes or no question for you guys. Prediction. We'll talk about it later as we get to Bound for Glory. But with everything on Impact right now, he says, Jeff, are they setting up for BFG series coming back? Especially with Sabin losing and not having to cash that in, I could see some drama with him needing something. So BFG series, I'm going to say yes. Lucha?
As much as I want it with how things look, I'm actually going no.
Just straight Josh, okay.
Yeah, because we got Josh and his whole thing, Leo with the belt so he can cash in. So it's like all the people who are like anywhere within reach of the belt have a reason to be so. Kushida kind of sort of on the back because he has the X.
Max?
So I don't think they have it.
I think the Bound for Glory BFG series is a phenomenal idea. One, it gives you pre-made storylines based off of the BFG series. Guys can, based off of who beat you in that, you can turn that into different storylines. And as much as, hey, I never lost the title, Josh coming back kind of, I was injured kind of thing is, it sucks to be you, bro.
That's what Shelley should say.
Work your way up.
Yep.
And the Bound for Glory series is the perfect way for him to say, awesome, you want me to work my way up? I'll do it this way. That's what Shelley should say. Hey, man, I want my rematch. Cool. Sucks to be you.
Yep.
If they present it that way, I'm 100% sold.
And you know what? Like, to put a bow on it, Myers and Moose, when we are talking about 4 other tag teams, do we see them needing to be in the tag division? No. So what do you put them in? Bound for Glory series. Rich and Sammy, they don't need to be in the tag division. Put them in there. So yeah, there's a lot of things we could play with. But let's keep moving on because here's 2 other dudes who are wrapping up a feud that I think could be in that Bound for Glory series. Eddie Edwards defeating Frankie Kazarian after a kendo stick in the Boston Knee Party. This was a great tempo changer. It went a little too long. I think you can make that argument. But commentary, as you said, Lucha was cooking. They were cooking. We had Tracy on the outside. We had Lish. And I could watch Eddie versus Frankie all day. And it's just great to have vets that could go in there, put the pace back to what it's a need to be. We just had a balls-to-the-wall car crash. That was still good. Very good. But let's put some technical wrestling on this. Let's slow it down and let's put on a good match. And I thought they did that. And these are 2 dudes who can be going for that DMC or that Bound for Glory series. Lucha, I went to Max on the last one. So Lucha, your thoughts on this?
That match was TNA wrestling art, like the wrestling part of TNA, like art.
TNA wrestling. Okay with the outcome,
I'm surprised by the outcome because heels don't normally win the rivalry.
Yeah,
but I mean, is this gonna drag? We're gonna start doing some tag team shit because we're gonna have to bring elements into the different elements in the match. if we're going to keep it going.
It felt like it was a blow-off. It felt like, oh, he won the series. That's kind of how they shaped the wording. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of Wolves and a lot of Daniels references during this feud. That would be something interesting if it was Wolves versus Bad Influence, but maybe it's not. Maybe this is just the next step is something else. Max, your thoughts on it?
I enjoyed it. I agree. It was a good slowdown. I do agree, couple minutes too long. I think I would have preferred that time to go to either the knockouts or the main event. But I thought it was a good match. It was fun. I was glad to see Frankie Kazarian back there, like in a match that like mattered. He's here. Well, I'm saying, yeah, he wasn't happy with his role in AEW. He comes in, they're giving him good feuds. I would have liked to see him win because I like Frankie Kazarian. But outside of AJ Styles walking back in, if Bad Influence came back, I might cry. I would be so happy because they are phenomenal. That's the highlight of both of their careers.
They have to have Apple Teenies.
What?
They have to have Apple Teenies.
Oh, just the exact. I want the jacket. I want everything. Like just.
It's funny. I said on Twitter if EY comes back because I put out the Team Canada with the EY thing, and I was like on Thursday. I was like this is obviously going to happen, or in my mind. And people are like, oh, is he? He thought he was signed. Da da da. And I told someone, I said, I don't know, man. But if he comes back, I'm gonna be happy. But if he comes back with blonde hair and he's, Showtime, I'll cry. Like there's just that different level of greatness, and I agree with you there. I want to hit up the chat because RK Shuttlesworth, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Eddie didn't blow it off on Twitter, so looks like they're continuing it there. Millard saying you could wake up Eddie and Kaz at 5 minutes before their match and it would be a banger, Monsters Ball style. Oh.
It was great, and they did a good job of getting the outside interference involved and it not be like overly like, oh my god, get these two out of the ring, like let's move on. It was well done. And once again, we're talking about Bound for Glory series now. You get me excited for that because continuing this in Bound for Glory would be perfect as a way to kind of continue that.
Built in things for Matt and Tom to talk about. Like, hey, they're matching up here and it's worth this amount, 3 points, but, there's a lot on the line here, but for the past few months, they've been feuding over. So there's, yes, I agree with you there, man. Real quick, Critical Sting saying Eddie is a pay-per-view stabilizer. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I think Frankie is going to win the world title next year. I think it's a possibility. Same with Shelley. Is it going to be for a long time? I don't know, but will it be for a good time? It will be, because at the end of the day, to have Shelley, no matter what you think, and that's, we'll get to that in obviously 2 matches. But I thought that would have been poetic if Sabin held that title for 1 month and Shelley as well. But the point that Sabin is a world champion, now Shelley can say he was a world champion, that Kazarian could eventually say it. I think it needs to happen. Screw it. At this point, Kenny King for me too. All those guys who are TNA heads, I would love. But let's
Kenny
move.
King stays. If he goes to ROH.
All right, don't give him the title.
Kenny King, another dark great. Wow, that's so crazy. AEW Dark.
AEW. Is that still on? Yeah,
another. It's not. It's gone. It's now called ROH.
Gotcha. Oh, gotcha. I get it now. Next is the Knockouts World, and hey, look, they said it in there, and it is cliche, but it's true. This had a big match feeling. The violin was there with Deanna's entrance. Trinity is gonna get that pop, man. She's gonna win with the Starstruck. This was a. Look, I think there's a lot of pay-per-views, because this isn't the only match. This is just something that made me think of it. There's a lot that you look at a card and you say, oh, I can't see that happening. But this was a pay-per-view full of, oh, I can see that happening. I could see Trinity winning. I could see Deanna winning. I could see Shelley winning. I could see Aldis. This was one of those matches, same with Eddie and Kazarian and the tag match and so on, that I was like, on the edge of my seat. Who's going to win this? Is Trinity going to do it? Does Mickey come back and screw her over to keep her off of it? I'm going to pass it to you guys because I don't have too much on there. I will say this. I got to be fair and I got to be consistent and honest here. Love Deanna, of course. But there was a little sloppiness here and there in this match. Unfortunately, there's a common denominator. I don't want to jinx it, but, but the one thing I will say about Deanna, and this is why I alluded to earlier, that I just more and more love, and sorry, Macklin, don't kill me. The interview she did before this show, and this wasn't on pay-per-view, this was like for WrestleZone or something. And she said, if I lose to Trinity, And Trinity could take this division, not only this division, but this company into that next stratosphere, which, hey, look, Max, you mentioned it, 19% up. And I know ratings are skewed. I always say that. It's 44,000 people, but still. If viewership's been up since she's here and they're rocking 20%, merch is going, the crowd's insane. Look at Lana last time when she came down. Was it the press pass? Critical Sting saying? But what she said was, if it's best for business, then I'll happily lose my title. Do I want to? No. But if it needs to happen, I'm going to do that. And I thought that was just pulling at the heartstrings there, man. I thought it was great. I'm glad she did it. Trinity is a star, and the Twitter reacted that way. Let's go to Max. Who had the last one? Lucha had the last one. Max, first on this, your thoughts on Trinity winning, Trinity being there, a big deal, and then the big match feel of this match.
So, I mean, she's definitely a big deal. Has the star power. I will say, when the match was announced, I was like, she's got this. She's winning.
Trinity?
Yes.
Okay.
And then 4 title changes in. I was like, I don't know. Maybe they're getting ready to give me the old whammy. I was like, I don't know. And I agree. It was a little bit sloppy at points.
Yeah.
But it was still a good match.
Oh, yeah.
The surprise of Deonna submitting, like, with the amount of people that she has submitted in her, both in this reign and her previous reign, like, that was a big surprise to me. It was, in terms of in-ring, was it the match of the night? No. But in terms of importance, I think it may be, because it's going to bring a lot of eyes to Impact. And I don't know if it's going to happen, but if you look at Mercedes when she's healthy, I'm not saying that she comes to Impact, but I wouldn't be surprised if her and Trinity do some tag stuff and Trinity having that title is just going to continue to boost the stock of Impact. So I think the Knockouts title already has great prestige in it. It's one of the best women's titles in wrestling. But having Trinity hold it with her name is, well, I mean, I'm thinking you look at like Stardom, where that's their whole. That's fine. It's up there, but it's her adding that name to that list.
Yeah.
Only elevates it even more.
Yeah. And that's why look, I know all this stuff is fake and kayfabe and titles don't matter. But at the end of the day, if you're a women's wrestler and you're looking at it, and I'll kick it to Lucha, I don't want to talk. I've talked about Mercedes for a year now. I still think it happens, but I look at her and I say, she left because of, hey, what are you giving me? This is garbage. I want to be respected. There's no other way to put your name at the top of I deserve respect than to be a Knockouts champion. I'm sorry. I think that is the woman's title throughout the years. And real quick, because who said it back here, and I want to give him props. Is it Millard? No, Io. Shout out to Io. I was thinking this during the damn match, and Io, you're right there with me, brother. Deonna is the Gale of our generation. No ands, if or buts. She goes out there, you know you're getting something good. She's going to hold down the match, and she looks like a star the whole time, losing, winning, whatever she's doing. Lucha, your thoughts?
I do believe Mercedes is going to pull up at some point. But I'm like, we gotta make it like mean as much as we possibly can. Yeah. And to me, that includes waiting for Mercedes to get back the IWGP World Title. So then we in a universe with both her and Trinity both as world champions.
I like it.
And then they meet up in Impact, go and tag, and even win the tag titles, and then we just have the fucking Trinity and Mercedes connection explode at Bound for Glory or whenever the hell, however long we can make this happen. Like
Victory Road,
episode 1000.
Episode 1000.
Trinity.
No, I'm with you, man, and I agree with you. You got to make it worth its money. And if she's coming out hobbling, not that she was going to, but I would save it for the big moment, and I think that still comes. I still think it does, but when and where, let's make it make sense. To your credit, Lucha, I agree. Look, it felt like a big moment for Trinity as well, and that's one moment. That's something I want to mention, because sometimes Look, you come in, you win the title too quickly. It's, oh, I got this, and what's next? Or maybe, hey, wonderful, cool, I got my instant gratification. But Twitter was lighting up. She was lighting up. The interview she's doing, she's glowing, pun intended, talking about this. It's good shit, man, and it's good for the company. So any way you slice this, it's a good deal. And to have Deonna and Trinity be the two in the world title picture at the moment isn't a bad place to be.
Glowing championship on the way.
Glowing.
Oh, you think she does it?
You think so?
I think she does it.
That'd be great.
Is Mercedes going to buy the Dollar Tree ones to to light it up again? Right after this, guys, not to jump around, but we're hitting on that. I want to stay in the 130 mark. Thanks for rocking with us, guys. You guys are lighting up. The true blood lifeline of the show. They announced something for Multiverse United. I never get that right. Multiverse United 2, for whom the bell tolls. Love the name. Love that it's in Philly. They already announced that Tanahashi will be there. But we're also Rush and Miguel, Leo Rush and Trey Miguel will tag team against Takahashi and Bailey. And Sonata, the former X Division champion, the current New Japan champion, or IWGP.
Give the man his props on what he is now.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I had to make sure that he started from here, and now, started from the X Division title. Now he's here, man. But he
Shout out to James Storm and the Revolution.
There you go. We'll get Shira back, get the whole group running, Manic. But Sonata will be back for Emergence. So cool news there. Once again, obviously, Multiverse United is a standalone. Does it add much? No, but for the fans, it's a great show, and it's some really cool matchups, and Sonata being around is pretty cool, man. And this is the same thing I mentioned with Uemura. You treat these kids right when they're in that Young Lion and above and so on, and you set them off ready for TV, go back to New Japan or Noah or whoever it is at the time, and you get rewarded in the end. Is that the reason you should do it? No, but as a business, you should be always in the back of your mind saying, if I treat this kid right now, what's going to come back to me when they're a star? Because both those kids are aces. Obviously, Sonata is, and obviously Okada turned into one, but, hindsight 2020.
So, real quick, just off the top of your head, off the hip, who's Sonata fighting in Emergence?
Ooh. If I had to, if things stay the way they do, you would imagine, I would imagine it's not title for title, but maybe a non-title champion versus champion? Shelley versus him?
You mean Josh Alexander?
You imagine, looking at it from a step back, that Sonata's going to win no matter who he wrestles, right? If it's a singles match.
Well, what if it is Josh Alexander and it is for the title and Josh beats him for the title?
No,
they're never going to let.
There's no. They're not going to put on Josh Alexander. As much as I like Josh Alexander, I don't think Moose. Maybe I could see them giving monster wise, but I don't think they're going to do that.
No, man, dog. You send Josh over to Japan for 3 weeks.
If he was there for a while, but
yeah. I think Josh Alexander versus Sonata would be a great match. I think the thing is this: Impact does so well with putting over talent from other companies and making them seem like a big deal. Yeah. They're willing to give them titles. They're willing to come out there and make them treat them correctly. Now, once again, so I don't think Impact has any issue saying, hey, we'll put Josh Alexander, we're willing to let him lose because it's the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. It's not a big loss.
Yeah.
He's not losing to some random young lion in a match. Saying, he's not getting pinned by Jungle Boy.
Hey, good point here. Io says he'll likely defend the title. Wonder if it's against a young lion who's now upped a little bit. Maybe it's just Yuya.
Sonata versus Yuya?
That could be it, possibly.
Battle of the future,
I will say with Multiverse United, and I'm going to go ahead and get my plug in now because I've done it to both Lucha and Geoff. The first 2 days of the G1 Climax are free on NewJapanWorld.com. But when Tanahashi wrestled today, they did mention Multiverse United on the event.
Cool.
So they talked about him being there. So the more this thing comes together, the more New Japan Pro Wrestling is going to talk about it, which should bring more eyes to it from people who may not necessarily be Impact fans.
Well, shit, I hope
I'm excited about that.
I hope they talk about it. Impact's their lead-in on Access TV. But, yeah, I agree with you. The only thing I hope Tanahashi as a tag team partner. I don't want to see him in a singles match.
I agree with that, but
so let's move on.
Tanahashi and Okada versus SubCulture for the tag titles.
Tanahashi versus Eric Young. That's just
They actually suck. Critical Sting one up and you saying send the best guy on the roster, send Johnny Swinger. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Tanahashi versus Johnny Swinger might not be a bad one.
Yeah, right.
What's the Kiss Demon doing? Can we bring him in?
Chicago Hell training, man, for the White Sox, right? Let's get to the world title. Keep this on the rails here because a couple of things I want to hit on. But Alex Shelley is going to defeat Nick Aldis cleanly. A belt DDT on the belt, then a shell shock. So I'll say that.
That's clean.
I thought it was a damn good match. Once again, a nice technical one that just like Eddie and Frankie that gave us some juice on there, and we weren't like it wasn't a crazy. We've seen a lot. So it was nice to set the pace and still get the crowd into it and still get us into it after a damn good 1 through 9. Skip the Leo Saban thing. So 1 through 8, whatever. But the story I don't want to take away from the match. The match was great. Didn't know that Shelley was going to keep it. It felt like everything made sense for Aldis until that music hit at the end. And said Aldis back of the line, my friend. Josh Alexander's back in the building. And we end up with a I'm back. Love this. Happy with it. Lucha, you want to kick this one off on the world, man? All the match itself, the outcome, and Josh's return.
I actually wasn't. Well, I can't say I wasn't surprised Shelley retained. I'm glad Shelley retained.
Same, yeah.
I kind of didn't want a reality with Nick Aldis as world champ. Not right now. Not like this.
That's fair. I want him with Mickey. Him and Mickey heel, he could be champion. I'm okay.
Yeah, something like that. That'll work. They're like the heel married couple that just piss everybody off. So I would have been cool with that, but no, I'm fine with Shelley retaining, especially with Josh coming back.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy to me though. Shelley kind of worked more heelish than Aldis did, like with the limb targeting and everything.
The fingers
to
and
me,
the
that's more
turnbuckle.
heelish. Yeah, that. Oh man, that was brutal. I loved it.
It did feel like that. It felt like it was more Shelley saying any means necessary than Aldis. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's like, and he was like, "Look, my homie already lost the belt. I ain't losing.
I'm not going back to that dressing room with with no gold.
I ain't going back to 8 Mile without this gold."
Oh shit. Max, your thoughts?
So once again, when I went into Trinity and Dion, I was like, well, I thought Trinity was winning, and now maybe she doesn't. But after 5 title changes, I was like, they're doing all 6. Clean sweep it. Sorry, Shelley, it's a month for you. So I was pleasantly surprised that Shelley retained. I think the Josh Alexander match between him is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be something that's going to be exciting, and I do hope. Although I don't know. Like, I don't want them to make one of them a heel, but I would love for Shelley to be like, yeah, back in the line, fool. Like, you get no special treatment with me.
Yeah. I
think that would be kind of cool. But I thought the match was really good. I thought Nick Aldis did a really good job. I hope he stays in Impact. I would have no problem with him getting another title run. I think he's deserving of what he is. He is a completely different person than he was when he left.
Magnus no more.
There is... Like, he did great in this feud as the heel, and I think that's where he's his best. I don't want to see face Nick Aldis.
I don't think he wants to see face Nick Aldis.
That's fine. But I liked him. I thought it was a really good match. I thought from start to finish, the pacing was well done. I thought it was a great closeout match. It wasn't one of those matches where it ends and you're like, ugh. I feel like they left me on a set. Like, it was good. I enjoyed it. I liked it, and I think the Josh coming back only elevated the excitement for what's next.
I agree. I don't want to, look, I'm going to be real, and I want to try to keep this in 130, so I want to get to our rating, our grading, and our match of the nights. But really quick, for me to say that I love Nick Aldis's work, obviously I'm 36 now, I'm less petty, but Magnus no more. I want him to stay. He has the look. He's good enough in the ring. I don't know why he does the Michinoku driver. I never understood that. But when he was doing this promo, same with Lio Rush, man. I went from wanting the Motor City retain both to saying give it to Leo after that promo, and after Aldis saying I don't give a flying fuck about what Shelley and all that stuff in that promo, I was sold as well. The dude can talk. He has a look. He has a presence, and he has history with the company. Is this? I see people saying the hiring freeze. Maybe this means he's going back now. It's coming to end. It's possible. Let him make his money and let him do what he's going to do for him. At the same time, for me, I want him in there, and he fits right into that Bound for Glory series if that's where we're going.
And he'll have the history on his side, because like there's no 2-time Bound for Glory series winner.
Yeah,
and that's gonna be me.
He did win, right? He won. So I want to get into our grading and our match of the night. But first, I want to say
no. I think he lost it. He made it to the finals and lost against AJ.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, while we're looking that up, I just want to say, look at the championship lineup here: Alex Shelley, Trinity, SubCulture, MK Ultra, Kenny King, and Lio Rush. This isn't a statement by any means, but I just want to say something. This is a very Captain Planet 90s type. The best is going to reach the top, and that's what I love about Impact. I'm not making a statement, but I'm saying this. You look from race to origin of where they're from, Brazil, UK, Russia, you got places, people all over, all different looking. You go to Impact and you're the best, you are going to be rewarded as the best. And that's, I don't know if you could say that everywhere, but look at this championship lineup. It's just beautiful, man. I mean,
is this a championship lineup that you use to present yourself to a network?
I think it's a championship lineup that I say, hey, we want to do some UK shows. We got SubCulture. We got some European flavor there. Maybe do a European thing there. I think this is a lineup you say, look, we are the, pun intended, the SubCulture of wrestling. We are the ECW. Look at our crop. Look at that roster page. Go to ImpactWrestling.com and just look at that roster page. It has every flavor you would want in wrestling. So I think you could sell this. Still think we should look for the C-dub, but we'll see what happens. Kicking this in, we got 4 minutes to off there, so let's hit this up. What is your match of the night? Lucha, hit me with yours.
The art of the night was Kazarian and Eddie Edwards for me. Oof. That was beautiful, beautiful mat wrestling. That was it.
Okay. Max? Lio Rush and Sabin, really?
That's, I was thinking that or Kenny King.
That's my second favorite.
But no.
The knockouts treat.
I'm going to go the main event. I thought it really put both those guys over as stars, as guys that can carry, I don't want to say carry a company, but as main eventers. I thought they both presented themselves well, and these two looked like guys who were legit main event talents.
Yeah, I'm with that.
By the way, Magnus lost to AJ.
Oh, good job, Lucha.
Gunner finished third in the very first Bound for Glory series, by the way.
Yeah, this is hard for me, man, because when I say match of the night, to me it means like, what was the best matchup for me? And I like your guys' reasons, Eddie and Frankie, Alex and Nick. I like those. I don't know, man, but it's hard not to wrap everything involved in it. I'm gonna go Trinity. I'm gonna split the hair. I'm gonna go match 9. I'm gonna go Trinity and Deanna, just the same reasons. As far as big match feel, two people who, my ultimate compliment, they look like video game characters. You go in there, the crowd's behind both of you, look like we could sell an action figure of you tomorrow. And that, to me, was the last 3 matchups in a nutshell. Eddie Kazarian, Trinity Deanna, Shelley Aldis. Like, these are guys legit. As far as grade, I'll kick that one off for me. I'm going to go an 8. I think that's fair.
I agree. I think 8 is a good is a good push. I think if the X Division match was an actual X Division match, probably would have broken the 9s.
Yep.
But and by the way, people are talking about Josh and Team Canada. I hope Josh goes nowhere near Team Canada. He doesn't.
Really?
He can be by himself.
Oh, that's another show for another day. That's another show. Lucha, don't even touch that.
Nope.
Tell me your grade for this. I see you squinting. Is there something you're contemplating?
No, it's crazy. For the exact reasons Max gave it an 8, I gave it a 7.
Oh.
That really like kind of sucked the air out the balloon for me.
It was an Angel's low
Leo.
blow to you.
Yeah, like Leo, like I wanted that match. I wanted to see that match so bad.
I did too. But other than that, 7-8, we split it there. 8-8 is 16 plus 7 is 23 divided by 3. That's a 7 and some change. I don't know, math. Either way, a fun pay-per-view.
7.67.
Huh?
Sure.
7.67.
7.67. There you go. Either way, I thought it was a great show. It was enjoyable. You never get anything below a 7, I don't think, an Impact for the most part when it comes to these shows. The roster's off the charts. The crowd was into it. Things we can shore up next time? Hell yeah. But am I excited for Bound for Glory? And before that, Victory Road, September 8th. Meet us there. September 9th, episode 1000. Yes, I'm very excited. I see you guys popping off great ideas. So if you're watching at home, make sure you read what they're saying in the chat. They're talking about UK tour at Hard to Kill. Hard to Kill in the UK's Jack the Ripper theme. Some really cool stuff over there.
This is what you'll see on Impact in months.
Yeah. Hey, Ray Walt.
We are Impact Creative. What's in the chat?
There you go. There we go. We just don't wear masks when we do it. All right, guys. That's a delirious joke. Anyways, thanks, guys. Whatever. Want to thank you guys for rocking out the chat. We love you. I thank you. Thank you for watching this. The numbers have been great. Make sure you subscribe. I appreciate you. Make sure you check out everything we're doing from Go-Go Power Rankings to TNA 2K. Still wrapping up. Lucha will be live together in studio the next week for the semifinals and finals of the Athena Cup. So that'll be
live
cool.
from Knockouts Knockdown.
Live from Knockouts Knockdown, which is even better. What did you guys think of the show? I thought it was good. We already mentioned that, but I just want to keep making sure we put that into the, if you're debating buying it, go buy it. It was damn worth it. And accessible on YouTube now. That's how I get it. Looking forward to the fallout. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Lucha. Thank you, guys. And thank you for watching. Awesome show, guys. Thank you, Datala. I appreciate you as well. Anything you guys want to sign off on? Just that? Or are we just...
First 2 days of G1 Climax free on NewJapanWorld.com. Go check it out.
Paid for by New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I mean, it's great. It's
the following
for just pure wrestling. It's awesome. Impact, New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's all you need in life.
There you go.
The two companies that actually work together.
Nicely and smoothly. Yes, sir. Either way, guys, thank you for coming out. God bless and good night. Go check everything out. Keep watching Impact Wrestling. We're on the road to Bound for Glory. That's exciting. Well, Victory Road, then whatever. Emergence. You guys get what I'm saying. All right, guys.
We're on the Victory Road to Bound for Glory.
Is the Victory Road is emerging to the multi? All right.
Yeah,
and there could be a turning point in North Carolina.
There you go.
No one wants to come to North Carolina. The only reason you come to North Carolina is if Virginia's booked.
Oh, boo. Boo this man. All right. Anyways, guys, thank you. RK Shuttlesworth, Millard, Critical Sting, Dobby the Brain, and Datala. I don't know who I'm. Io. All of you guys that are watching, leave comments as well. Thank you, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night. Bye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.